People who take walks at night, what's the scariest thing you've seen? NSFW. During winter in a rural no cell service kind of area. Completely dark, no street lights nor anyone in sight. Temperatures were around 20 and it was snowing. I was walking my dog with a flashlight. Then I heard someone start screaming bloody murder. Flight or fight kicked in. It truly sounded like someone was being stabbed to death for what seemed like forever. I chose to find out what the hell was going on. What I found instead was beyond anything I expected. He was a 5-year-old boy wandering down the road all alone. All he was wearing were light flannel pants and a thin t-shirt. No shoes or hat. And screaming so loudly it echoed through the hills. I dropped my dog's leash and walked up to him slowly, gently and repeatedly telling him that I'm a mom and that he's going to be okay. I wrapped him into my arms and carried him to a neighbor's home to warm him by the fire and call for help. Edit. The boy's parents were visiting friends. The boy got up at night to look for his parents, who'd left him and his sister home, while they were out drinking. He got lost in the dark and just kept walking and screaming. Originally thinking I'd get in the crosshairs or witness some bloody domestic fight is what put my mind in the scared shitless headspace. Plus dark, no cell phones, no weapon. I am male and used to walk home after a night out drinking. I had long hair and was quite skinny when I was in my early 20s, and one time at about 2 a.m., in a dark location and I was walking and some guy slows his car right down and drives next to me staring. I told him to fuck off, and at that point I think he realized I was a man and drove off. I am pretty sure if I had been a woman things wouldn't have ended up well. Over 25 years ago, I was walking in a park at night. It was pitch black in this park, no lighting, other than the moon and the stars on a beautiful autumn night. I couldn't see very well, but I knew the area, and was walking along the road, which ran parallel to a small river. The moonlight would bounce off the water, and all you would hear is the trickle from the slow-running river and slight breeze in the trees. I loved those walks. That was until the one night, in the dead silence and pitch black, I distinctly hear a man's voice out of the woods say very clearly,
"Young girls shouldn't go walking alone in the woods at night."
I froze. I looked in the direction of the voice and couldn't see a damn thing. I ran home. That was the last evening walk I took in that park. One time I turned around to see what was behind me just out of intuition, and I saw someone step behind a tree rather quickly and try to hide from me. I stood there for a second to confirm this, then I speed walked home. Fucking creepy. I was walking home, fairly drunk, from a late night party and found a girl that had slit her wrists in the park by my house. She was on the ground by a bench. Assuming she was drunk, I stopped to see if she was okay. Then I saw the blood. She was unresponsive but still alive. At first I thought she had been beaten or stabbed, but while I was on the phone with 911 I realized it was her wrists. Her face was messed up too, but I think that was from falling off the bench. EMT and police showed up, asked me a few questions, took my info and sent me home. I never heard anything, so I assume she lived. Scariest night of my life. Walking home from a late night gym session at 24 Hour Fitness. A white van passed by me, slowing down. Slowly took a right turn in front of me. A couple minutes later I reach the turn and see the van stopped at the exit of a parking lot. It's facing back my way. It's like 4 a.m. and nothing else is going on and I'm creeped out. The van starts coasting forward slowly after I make the turn, and I sprint across the street to a gas station and into the small dead-end water/air pump station and press my body against an area of the wall that the van can't quite see me. It literally pulls into the air/water station and stops. I hear the engine running right fucking next to me, but they never get out of the van. I just stand there pressed against the wall until they pull out and drive around the gas station into the lot on the opposite side of the wall. I hear the van lingering for some time before it goes silent. Still I wait a while longer before I leave and run the rest of the way home. Was out for a late walk in the rain, always enjoy it because it's peaceful, smells great, quiet, and never see anyone. Walked off this trail back into the road and saw a big pile of garbage under a tarp at the end of the cul-de-sac the trail ends in, got a creepy chill like, that could be a dead body or something and I'd never know. Just got a weird feeling that snapped me out of my calm walk. Picked up the pace. About 500 yards away was a parked car with a guy sitting there, in the dark, in the rain, like 11 p.m.-ish car off, just sitting there. Got super creeped out at this point and changed my route back to the main road and hurried home. Turns out it was a dead body someone had dumped under that tarp, was under there for 4 days before someone investigated it. The guy in the car turned out to be just a random dude, who lives there and totally unrelated to the body. Still, took a few months off from my late night walks alone in the woods. Holy shit, I've got one for this. Grew up in Japan, not too small / not too big city. Worked a job that had me coming home daily at 4-ish a.m. daily. I preferred to walk the back street that paralleled the main street home because it felt more cozy and peaceful. Nothing of note happened until one day. I turned the corner onto the side street and about halfway down there was a young woman. She wasn't doing anything, just staring at the sky. Staring straight up, neck at a 90-degree angle, mouth slightly agape, long black hair hanging. I hesitated but decided that, since nothing weird has ever happened here before, it'd be fine, so I went to walk by. I get up next to her, it's a narrow road so not a lot of room to maneuver, and pause to look at her. She hasn't moved or reacted to me, she's just staring away. So I fight my instincts and ask her if she's okay. She doesn't react. I look up to see if she's looking at something but there's nothing there. So now I'm thinking there's something medical going on, so I reach out and touch her on the shoulder. She jolts and looks at me like she's just noticed me. I ask if she's okay and she just stammers and says sorry before hustling down the street the same way I was headed. I decided to smoke a cigarette to let some distance get between me and her, but towards the end of the street, she stops and stares at the sky again. Doesn't move for the whole 5 minutes it takes for me to finish my cig. I walk down the main street for the next couple nights. I've never been afraid of the dark. Grew up in the countryside, where the nearest street light was 10 miles away, so I'm comfortable in dark places, so much so that I often take my dog for a walk at around midnight just because I like the peace and quiet of the night. I live in a city now so something about the dark is just soothing to me. That being said, one of the scariest things I've ever experienced, I genuinely have no explanation for. Living in a city I used to drive out 20 to 30 miles into the country to do some astrophotography. As I'm driving out one night I see this guy walking at the side of the road with no lights, reflectors, and a big backpack. Didn't think much of it other than it being a little odd. 5 miles later, I see the same guy walking again. I haven't changed directions, turned, and I've been doing 50 mph. As I drove past he looked and waved at me. I was pretty spooked but I drove on. I must be imagining things. It can't be the same guy. I get to my field in the middle of nowhere, park up, and get the camera out, and turn off all the lights so my eyes adjust to the dark. All is going well, and for 30 minutes I'm content, and starting to relax. Suddenly I hear a rustling near the hedge by the road. Crunching leaves, grass being kicked. It was footsteps. I immediately get a feeling of dread, like I'm in severe danger and something bad was going to happen. I grab my camera, toss it in the car, get in, lock the doors and turn on the headlights. When I turn out of the field, I pass where I heard the noise and saw fresh footprints in the mud but no sign of anyone. I race back home, driving double the speed limit, constantly checking my mirrors for anyone. I park up around the corner and wait in the car with the lights off for 30 minutes, watching. Nothing shows up. I get home, lock all the doors and sleep with a knife under my pillow that night. I honestly don't know what really happened that night, but part of me knows that creepy guy I passed on the road twice was in that field. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I publish new videos daily.